That's pretty good. Yeah.
All right, are you recording? Cool. And we're recording. Here's Bruce Williams, right?
Yep.
Cool, because we also got a Bruce Wills. Bruce Williams, Inside Out Christmas Ornaments.
Okay. Yeah, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Bruce Williams. I've been wood turning, doing this crazy hobby since about 2008. And I can remember my first meeting was a live hands-on demo from Alan Batty. And that started this whole thing when he was demonstrating at the Palm Beach County Woodturners. And then a couple of weeks ago, when Julie was down at the auction for some of Brian's turning equipment, she comes up to me and says, "We had somebody request or want to see a demo on inside-out ornaments." So I said, "Well, I've done them in the past. I haven't done any recently, and I still haven't done any recently because I haven't had time to really go through and set this thing up. But I don't think it's changed a whole lot." In order to do it, first off, you got to have square pieces of wood. And this one here is square on about 3 sides. It would have to go through, well, actually 2 sides. It could do a little bit of work on this side down here, probably run it through the joiner or the planer again and get that taken care of. But you really want to have square wood so that you can put the pieces together, the 4 pieces together. You want to put the glue, the adhesive on the outside corners out here because you're going to be splitting this apart. The whole thing, you're going to be turning the inside first, and then you're going to split the block apart with a chisel or a knife or whatever, and flip it around, kind of like this piece right here. This has had the inside done, and it's been turned, the blocks have all been turned around and then re-glued. I used a little bit of hot melt glue in here to put them back together. And you, again, start with square lumber and go from there. And so what's going to happen when you get done with this, you'll end up with a piece that can look like that, or you can do it just half of this piece. These are just pieces that I've had laying around my shop for a while. I was doing, right after Brian passed away last month, and he and I were really good friends, but Autumn, the oldest daughter, asked me to make 4 urns, one for each of his daughters and one for his girlfriend, Lori. And so I've just finished those up, and that's what I've been kind of working on, concentrating on, because Autumn flew in a week ago Tuesday from Michigan. That's where she lives, and she's leaving on Tuesday, so we needed to get everything finished up there. So I'm not quite as prepared as I should be on this thing. You can pass those around if you want. And I'm gonna make sure this is good and tight here. Again, I'm not used to this particular lathe, but I think we've got it worked out. And you start with a square block in here, so you've got to be fairly careful about, coming in. You don't want to turn out here on these edges where it's glued together. You want to, otherwise the piece will come apart on you. So let's see what we can do here. We're going to get it going. And it's running at about 1,200 RPM, which is a good, safe speed. It's being held on both ends. I'm not too worried. I put tape on it for a couple of things. Number one, it's an indicator to me where I don't want to be cutting the wood apart. And number two, it just gives a little more security getting in here. So I want to get this kind of rounded in here. And whatever curve or whatever pattern you're going to put on the inside, you know, start with something fairly simple, and then as you do more and more, you can make it a little more exotic, for lack of a better word. All right. So I'm just going to start by coming in here, doing some V-grooves to kind of get the wood back out of the way. And I need some more light. If I put a light on this, am I going to wash everything out as far as the camera goes?
You can turn the light on.
Oh, the light on the camera. Ooh. Yeah, let's try, yeah, that's much better. Let's try this.
If you need more light, get this guy going.
Okay, well, yeah, if we need it, we'll use it. Hopefully we can get, that's much better. And I'm just kind of getting the inside to where I can start with whatever shape I want to do it here. And I'll bring it right up a little bit closer to the tape line. I may not use it all, but I'll be available to do. And it's getting there. I need to do a little bit the other way. And now I can just start basically cladding in. And remember, this is going to be the inside, so I want to get the shape in here. And this is where all those beads and codes that you made, or the instructor, if you were taking a class when you were beginning, start to pay off. Oops. And it's starting to come in here. I need to clean these up a little bit, and we'll do that in a second. All right. And we're just coming in here. I can see the wood inside there. I keep pushing the wrong button. How deep we're getting in here. Let me take a look at that. It can go a little bit more. We'll clean these sides up here a little bit. And I'm just making a very simple design in here. As you, again, get more practice, you can turn these things around. I'm going to go a little bit deeper, almost about half again as deep as we are right here. If I can get the right button on the lathe. Oops. Anyway, that's looking better. Oops. And the catches, like the one that you just heard me do, are free of charge. There's no additional. And, you know, you get it fairly close to where you've got through the bottom, and then you need to take this whole thing apart here and split it out in half. Where'd that little, oh, it's over there, okay. I'm gonna pull this tape off of here.
Sorry about this one.
Yeah, we'll see that in a minute.
Is there a particular tool you use to split them apart, or are you going to be doing that? You going to be splitting them apart?
Yeah. That's why I brought the chisel and the, there should be a chisel and a mallet. Don't know, I will try to do this here. I think we can get it apart without too much trouble. And the one thing I forgot to bring was glue, so, but we've got that other piece that's already been turned. All right, so you end up with a piece that looks like this, or whatever shape you're going to do, and then you got to split it apart, and I kind of come just and hopefully just can pop it free here.
I heard you say you glue the ends, but I know you do, but I just can't what glue you use.
I use hot melt.
Hot glue?
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, you could use regular, you could use CA, you could use, you know, wood glue might be, the big thing is you want to keep it on the ends. If it starts dribbling down through here, it becomes a whole.
I glue this, you want to wait.
Yep. You know, hopefully we can get it apart. Yep. And as you can see, if I hold this to the camera, you can see where the piece was glued together. It's right on those ends. And these are really pretty simple. They're not, you know, again, you can make them as difficult as you want to do. Hopefully. There we go. And it's going to split out a little bit. So you got 1, 2, and then what you're going to do is turn these, you know, they were this way, now you're going to turn them like that, and you can glue them back together. And again, this is where having them lined up really comes in handy. All right. And then you would re-glue the sections together like this and tape them, and that will, you know, depending on how far you go, will I need to turn that around like that to line it up.
You just glue the ends of them again?
And you just glue the ends of them again. You don't want to, you know, you're going to, once it's done here, actually you could glue this whole end, and I would probably do that because you, you know, this is going to be the finished piece right here. So through the magic of glue at home, we have a piece here where, you know, I've turned it, measured it up square, we'll put it in here. And we want to make sure that we're lined up here. My spindle gouge, I got it. That'll do. Thank you, ma'am. All right, so now, you know, once you get it glued back together here, and this is in a little bit of a different shape, and I would probably on this one go down a little bit deeper. The deeper you go into that wood, the more of an arch curve you're going to have on the top of the, you know, it's showing up right. That was a little bit of a delay between here and the picture up there, so not a big deal. And now it's just a matter of shaping this outside here any way you want to do it. So let's do a little bit of work on that. If I can. And I'm just going to start here now, and I can do a little bit of a round over. I may go back to my and it's when you're turning this part up in here is where you really need to have some decent light, because all you see is a little bit of a shadow line here, and I still need to take that in a little more. This is good. I don't.
Is this enough light? You would like to?
No, no, this is fine. I'm going to go back to that little 1/4 inch bowl gouge that I have that I really like. We need to do a little more through here. We still got some getting pretty thin right in through this section here. So I gotta be careful there. Now, the black handled one, where did I put that? It's over here. This is a little 1/4-inch bull gouge that I got from Doug Thompson, quite a few years ago. It's actually part of a kit, but I like it better than I do the little 3/8 spindle gouge because it doesn't have the ability, it doesn't flex as much as that spindle gouge does. It's a little beefier tool, a little more weight in it. And I use this a lot as far as when I'm turning a lot of different things. So I'm going to try to get this shape a little bit better here. And we're getting it there. I'm going to try to go just a little more through here and get rid of some of this flat. And the nice thing about having that hollow in there is you can actually see how much wood you've got left. I'm trying to make this about take a little bit off of this direction. Now, does the camera pick the inside shape here up on it? Yeah, well, you can, from where I'm standing, I can see the inside curve of that piece, and that's what I'm trying to run the outside to it. And match, the thickness up of the wall thickness and everything as I'm turning on the outside. And we can come down a little more through here. Got a nice continuous curve now. And that's coming pretty good. I've got a little more to do up through here, and we'll take care of that right now. I'm used to a wheel here. This little flat bar is confusing me. And we're getting pretty close right here. We got a little bit more up in here that should come off. I got a little bit of a flat right through here that needs to get turned away. I think I've got enough. It's getting kind of thin on that one area, but we'll do a light cut here. Try not to do the infamous wood turner's one last cut. And this is where it gets interesting now. I'm over here, and I've either got to get way over here on one side, or I've got to turn and start doing a little bit left-handed here. I would recommend practicing that left, if you're right-handed, practicing that, left-handed turn. It just is a whole lot easier than trying to work your way around the far end of the lathe over here. Yeah, come on. All right, so we're pretty much finished through here. A little bit of sanding in here. This piece was, I got a little bit of a flat still here, but you could sand that off with no problem. I don't want to do a whole lot more here because I can see in through here where it's starting to get pretty thin. And if I start taking off a whole lot more through the curve here, it might be a funnel by the end of the program. So anyway, let's finish this up here just a touch, and then we'll be pretty much done with it. You can drill holes on both ends, drill and put a little finial coming down here to make an icicle out of it. Hang your loop and your wire up through the top up here to hang it on the Christmas tree or put it up someplace. But they're kind of a neat little Christmas gift that you can give out to, the family and friends. And I know every year we do a thing for the volunteers at the Okahili Nature Center. They do a banquet every year, and this year we turned letter or postcard or picture holder frames. We've done sword, magic wands, Harry Potter magic wands in the past. We've done birdhouses. We've done, every year we do a different project for them. Kind of pays our rent down there during the course of the year, so we get the use of that room, and we're very lucky to have that room, as people will, because it's a great place for a meeting. All right, let's finish this up here now. Let me just leave that. Need to roll that a little more. And so I would probably put a little more curve right in here. Let's do a little bit of that. I am a much better right-handed turner than I am left-handed. There's no doubt about that. Do a little shear scraping through here to kind of get some of the and again, the whole key to doing this thing when you've got a big open circle in here is small cuts. If you get hogging the wood, your chances of breaking through that thing increase significantly. Okay, let's just finish up this end now. Ding, ding, ding. Oops. And now just a little bit of a flat in here, a little bit of a and you can finish up the rest of this. We'll get this just a little narrower over here. And that's pretty well got it done. And now, again, if this were in the shop, sandpaper and a little bit of finishing on here, and you'd be good to go. But they're fairly simple to do. The big thing is to make sure you start out with square pieces, flat wood, so that they go together. And you got to watch when you put them back together a little bit. And that's about it. Okay, we're done. You can pass that around if you want to.
Yeah.
I had no idea from this inside out.
Yeah, right.
Sand the inside of this thing.
I would, yeah. If this was a piece that, not a demo piece where I've got a time frame, yeah, I would sand the inside. I would, on that one, I would have gotten the inside kind of cleaned up a little more.
But would you sand this while it was still all glued together?
I would do it while it was glued together before you take it apart and flip it. So that's the only way you're going to be able. Trying to fit your fingers in there and sand the inside now is going to be, it's going to be a problem.
When you put it back together?
Yep.
So put it back together.
Okay. I've done it before where I took a piece of newspaper,
Yep. Yep.
the whole thing.